Hello friends, welcome to Lukman IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 7th June 2021. Let us see which are the important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. Yes, these are the important articles. Let us take overview first of all these articles. First, for mains related articles, behavioral change can reduce transmission. Now on page number 6, the context of this particular article, it is talking about the significance of behavioral change to stop, or we can say reduce, the transmission of this COVID-19 infections in community. So along with medicinal aspects, behavioral aspects are also important to tackle this pandemic. We have to take input here from GS2 paper governance part as well as ethics paper GS4. Then media and sedition. Now recently the Supreme Court has denied the criminal charges against Vinod Dua, journalist. So the charge of sedition was invoked against him. So again it is talking about freedom of speech and expression, fundamental rights of the journalist, very important for democracy. So sedition charges, earlier also we discussed this, again we are going to discuss the same topic here on page number 6, editorial page. Now specifically prelims related articles, performance grading index for 2019-20. This has been released by Ministry of Education now. So we have to understand what is this index, then the rankings, the highlights of this particular index, this year index, and then significance also. Okay, and then Gautama Buddha and Buddhism. On page number 6 there is one article written by Jairam Ramesh about the recent book that he has written regarding the Buddha and its impact, right? So we have to understand, take input from ancient history perspective here for prelims examination, right? So we'll deal into details of this Buddhism, its philosophy and life of Buddha. Then COVID-19 related developments that we are having follow up on daily basis, daily prelims MCQs that we are solving on today's current affairs, and then important captions and quotations. Okay, let us go into details of all these articles. First, behavioral change can reduce transmission. Now this particular article, it is talking about the pandemic, its transmission in the community. It is happening because of largely the people are not wearing the mask, or even if they are wearing, they are not wearing consistently or in consistent manner, as well as not wearing properly, and because of that the transmission is increasing of these infections. So along with the medicinal aspects, that means yes, the treatment, that means here we are focusing not only on treatment or curing of this disease after once the person is infected, rather the prevention is also important. Preventing is very helpful here, effective in breaking this transmission chain of this virus. So the writer in this article is providing 7 ways of behavioral change to reduce the transmission of COVID-19. Before directly going into this aspect, let me tell you some aspects related to the behavioral aspect. Human behavior, this is also a kind of science, we can say, a behavioral science. Generally we focus about this social sciences. So human behavior, the study of human behavior is very important for reducing the transmission of COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so from this aspect we have to understand the persuasion techniques that are required to ask people, persuade people for COVID-19 appropriate behavior. For COVID-19 appropriate behavior, what are these persuasion techniques? First and foremost is effective communication. Second, we can say nudge theory. Nudge theory means nudging the behavior, nudging the attitude. For example, how we have created the movement towards sanitation through Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So such kind of nudge theory is also important to be implemented, applied for this aspect also. Then we can focus on effective leadership. Then fourth one, role modeling. And fifth one, success stories. Success stories. Now all of them to some extent are included in these 7 ways. All of these are included in these 7 ways. So in GS4 paper ethics part, if suppose there is any case study wherein you are important, or we can say the person who is charged to ensure the COVID-19 appropriate behavior among the people in city where infections are increasing, suppose such case study is asked, then you need to be aware about the persuasion techniques. Okay, persuasion techniques. And then there are other techniques, like for example the punitive techniques also. Persuasion, and then there are punitive techniques. The combination of both needs to be used here. Punitive in terms of law enforcement, punishment, penalties, all these are also important. They act as a deterrent also. Let us now try to understand which are these 7 ways here mentioned. First, communicating the basic information. Now what happening at present is the people are not getting the right information. The people are not getting the right information, rather there is huge amount of misinformation on the social media platform reaching to them, and therefore to some extent that is affecting the COVID-19 appropriate behavior. So here basic information, that means why one should wear mask, how to wear mask, including double mask, then who should wear mask, all these questions, the basic information regarding the mask, we can say different masks also, which are different masks and how to use them. Like there are reusable mask, one time use mask for medicinal purpose, or we can say N95 mask. The common people do not know anything about the significance of this mask. So it is the responsibility of the administration, government, to have the effective communication to the people about this basic information. First thing, and for that purpose appropriate IEC campaign should be launched by the government. What is IEC? Information, education, communication. Information, education, communication. So this campaign is very important for this first purpose. Now after understanding this, second way is tailored communication to different groups. We can understand that in our society there are, we can say, highly educated people, or we can say some of the people are normally educated who can generally just read and write, or illiterate people also. So different people need a different kind of communication, right? So many people know the significance of wearing mask, so they do not require the particular kind of information, basic information. They know this basic information and they require a different kind of communication here, that having the consistency of wearing this mask, this is important, right? So yes, different kind of communication to different groups, it is important. Along with that, we have the linguistic diversity in the country, so having all this information delivered in the local language is very important here, right? Now the third aspect here, we can talk about communicating benefits of wearing mask. This can be ensured, communicating benefits of wearing mask. Here you can talk about the success story or any study, scientific study in any other country or other society which can be explained, told, its results, positive results can be told, explained to the people. So communicating benefits of wearing mask through success story is very effective. It is very effective. It has some kind of impact on the human conscience, right? Yes. Then we can talk about the create positive social norm around wearing mask. Now social norm is very important, and social norm is not created out of the you can say overnight, right? Rather social norm is a long term process, and this requires a different, or we can say participation by different groups and sections of society, right? So participation by different groups and sections of society, if we are talking about the religious organizations or civil society organizations, and then the government, they can collaborate together and create such kind of social norm, and the community vigilance can be created here. A community vigilance can be created to observe these social norms. Okay, write such kind of words in your answer. Then fifth one, enforce correct and consistent mask wearing. Now this aspect is actually punitive aspect. When we talk about enforce, this is enforced by law enforcement agencies. For example, police can fine those who are not wearing masks or not wearing properly these masks. So a punitive aspect act as a deterrence. This is also important. So yes, carrot and punishment, all these aspects are important to nudging the behavior, changing the behavior of the people. This is we can say proved theory already. Then compassionate leadership. Now this is also important. Leadership play very important role to change the behavior of the people. So for example, if we are talking about the Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, or we can say that Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, our Prime Minister has continuously nudged the behavior of the people through, we can say, the lead by example. Lead by example, right? So this is important. Leadership, these leaders, be it at local level, district level, regional level, or national level, state level, these leaders, whenever they are in the public influence, or we can say public arena, they should be wearing mask. They should be talking about importance of wearing this mask. Okay, this is how compassionate leadership is very important. Compassionate, why the word used? Because they should be aware about the importance of these wearing masks. Along with that, they should be concerned about the problems faced by the people. That's why the compassionate leadership. Then responsible media, seventh one, but not, we can say, least very important, responsible media. Now what is happening, we have seen during last 1 year, especially first 3 to 4 months of this pandemic, the media created some kind of sensationalization of the news of this pandemic. And when the people were reading or watching these news, what happened at that time, there was some kind of fear created among the people, and people started thinking that yes, abhi kuch nahi ho sakta hai, hum sab marne wale hain. We have seen all this kind of thinking by the people in last 1 year, and this is to some extent influenced by media. So responsible media ensures that first thing, facts or data is rightly communicated, or true data, true facts are communicated to the people. At the same time, whatever the wrong facts which are circulating in the social media or normal media, that should be negated by this media continuously. Second aspect is that instead of sensationalization, educating people should be focused. Educating people should be focused. Along with that, some kind of positivism, hope should be created among the people, and optimism should be there, right? So the media, by providing all these aspects, responsible media to some extent is helping the government or administration to deal with this pandemic. Okay, so in this manner, behavioral change can help to reduce the transmission of this COVID-19 pandemic infections. Fine. So what kind of question we can expect? How behavioral approach to address COVID-19 transmission can be adopted? Substantiate. Now you need to provide the measures, way forward, behavioral approach. Directly you can write 7 ways, or you can use the 5 persuasion techniques that we just mentioned whenever the question is there in ethics paper GS4 part. Fine. Okay, so this is important. Then moving on to next article, media and sedition. Now this context of this editorial on page number 6, it is talking about the sedition charges against journalist Vinod Dua. So this sedition charges, or the section under IPC, it is section 124A of IPC. Now let me tell you some background here. This section was added during British time period, especially to curb press, or we can say which criticism, or which had some kind of criticism against government. Okay, against government, right? So this particular section was brought at that time for this purpose. Now this was continued even after independence. Now this is we can say being misused or arbitrarily used continuously from time to time by the governments by invoking this particular section against journalists. Now here we have to also understand this particular section impinges on the fundamental right that is provided under Article 19, right to freedom of speech and expression. Right to freedom of speech and expression, and this particular right, as earlier Supreme Court from time to time had explained which are the different rights are included in this particular right, and right to press, or we can say this is also included here. Now that's why the rights of journalists are very important, especially for protecting democracy. These are civic rights, and civic rights are very important in any democracy, right? Now after understanding this part, if you are talking about specifically this particular case, now Supreme Court has squashed this criminal case against Vinod Dua. Earlier also in February, or we can say we talked about last month, I guess. So it was talking about similar sedition charges against MP of Andhra Pradesh by Andhra Pradesh government, and there also we discussed this sedition provision. While analyzing this, we have to also understand that the provisions, or we can say wording, is very vague definition, we can say, and therefore it can be continuously misused by the law enforcement agencies or the government whenever the criticism is there against the government, right? So this is also one thing. And another thing that you need to understand here, that Supreme Court recently agreed to look into, or we can say to re-examine provision of sedition. This is good thing because to some extent this sedition provision is antithetical to democratic setup and freedom of speech and expression. So that's why this particular provision should go, or at least the definition and the provisions under such section should be very clear, transparent and clearly defined and not vaguely worded, right? So yes, this aspect you should be aware about regarding sedition, section 124A of IPC. Okay, now moving on to next article, Punjab, Tamil Nadu and Kerala top education index ranking. What is this particular education index ranking? We are talking about performance grading index for 2019-20. Performance grading index for 2019-20. This is released by Education Ministry, Ministry of Education, Union Ministry of Education we are talking here. It is basically for evaluation of school education in different states and union territories and monitoring the progress in different, we can say, indicators, for example learning outcomes, access and equity, infrastructure, facilities and governance and management processes. Now this particular index is the third edition of the index and uses 70 indicators and ranks all these states and union territories on the basis of 1000 point score. Scoring is out of 1000. Okay, so what is the ranking? We can see that 3 states, Punjab, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, attained score of more than 900 out of 1000 in this performance index. Okay, so yes, Punjab highest 929, then we can see Tamil Nadu. The Tamil Nadu has 906 and Kerala has 901 as a score. Okay, so this is important. You should be aware about the developments in school education and why the significance. If we are talking about significance, again it creates some kind of competition among the states and UTs. It reflects the progress to be achieved of these sustainable development goals, SDGs, and one of the SDGs is education for all. This is very important and that's why the elementary education and overall school education, the performance in this aspect in schools, or we can say in states and union territories, this is evaluated by performance grading index. Now this is released by Education Ministry, not Niti Aayog. Generally what we think about any kind of index, Niti Aayog releases such kind of index or something like that, but you should be aware that this is released by Ministry of Education. Fine? Okay. Now moving on to next, Gautama Buddha and Buddhism. Now why this particular aspect that we are learning here, topic from ancient history, different religious streams, especially when we are talking about Buddhism and Jainism during ancient history. This is important. Why important? Because many questions, almost every year in prelims examination, 1 or 2 questions are always asked on Buddhism or Jainism, either its philosophy or life of Buddha or Mahavira. Okay, let us try to know about Buddhism in today's lecture. Life of Buddha. Okay, so Buddha was born in 563 BC in Lumbini place in Nepal, present day Nepal. Okay, now he belonged to Shakya clan. Shakya clan or Kshatriya, we can say he was Kshatriya, son of king, father Shuddhodana, mother Mayadevi, name of the mother Mayadevi. So Shuddhodana was king, Mayadevi was we can say queen or princess also, and their son was Gautama Buddha. Okay, now you should know about the journey. Journey, it says that at the age of 29 he left home in search for solution to the human suffering. He wanted to know the reason, cause behind the human suffering, and he left the home at the age of 29 in search of these reasons. And this particular we can say the particular incident is associated with the symbol of horse. Okay, so this birth, this symbol, it is associated with symbol lotus or bull, either of them, lotus or bull. Okay, this is important symbols, important events in the life of Buddha, great events and the symbols associated with them. Okay, then at the age of 35 years, after 6 years of continuous meditation in the forest, he achieved or attained the nirvana, or we can say enlightenment, where at a particular place under peepal tree, which is also called as now Bodhi Vriksha, at Bodh Gaya, present day Bihar, Bodhi Vriksha, people tree, nirvana, enlightenment. This shows that he came to know or understood the reasons behind the human suffering. Okay, and then he felt that the knowledge he got, the supreme knowledge that he got, that should be conveyed to the people, the reasons behind the human suffering. Okay, so this is the journey of, we can say, or he died in Kushinagar. He died in Kushinagar. This particular event is called as Mahaparinirvana. Okay, Mahaparinirvana, this event is called as Mahaparinirvana, and it is associated with the symbol of stupa. It is associated with the symbol of stupa, right? Then we can say that this nirvana, enlightenment, this particular we can say event is associated with this peepal tree or Bodhi Vriksha, and he gave the first sermon. Here you should mention the first sermon immediately after attaining enlightenment at Sarnath. To his 5 disciples, and this particular event is known as Dhamma Chakra Pravartana. Okay, so name of the event, Dhamma Chakra Pravartana, and the symbol associated with this great event is chakra or wheel. Now you have understood the 5 events, great events, and the symbols associated with them, which are these: birth, lotus or bull, and then when he left the home, this particular event is also called as Mahabhinishkramana. This is also called as Mahabhinishkramana. Okay, this Mahabhinishkramana, when he left home, then the symbol associated is horse. When he achieved nirvana, or we can say enlightenment, then that is associated with this Bodhi Vriksha, peepal tree. That's why Bodhi tree is the symbol associated. Then the first sermon at Sarnath, Dhamma Chakra Pravartana, the symbol wheel, and lastly he died at Kushinagar, Mahaparinirvana stupa. the symbol associated. Why? Because the remains of Buddha were distributed throughout the country, outside the country also, and they were buried under at the center of these stupas. That's why the symbol associated with them is stupa. This is how you need to remember the different, let's say, important events associated with Buddha. Now, after understanding the life and great events, let us try to understand the Buddhism philosophy. Doctrine of Buddhism. Four noble truths. First, okay, so here, first among the noble truths that the people should understand, know, be aware about is that first dukkha, that suffering. People should understand that there is suffering. There is suffering in the life. There is suffering in the life. Second, dukkha samudaya. Dukkha samudaya. That is, every suffering has reason. Every suffering has reason or cause behind it. Has cause behind it. Then third one, dukkha nivaran. Dukkha nivaran. That is, suffering can be ended. Suffering can be ended. It has solution. Every suffering can be ended according to this philosophy. And lastly, four, to end this suffering, one should follow the pratipad. One should follow the pratipad, or we can say way, that should be followed here. Fine. So these are the four noble truths in Buddhism philosophy. Now, after understanding this, the Buddha also talks about Ashtangika Marg, or eightfold path. Eightfold path. Ashtangika, that is, it is talking about, we can say, if you tend to remember, yes, there will not be questioned directly, but you should be aware about 8 path, that the person should have right view, person should have right speech, right action, then right mind, right meditation, all these are included in this eightfold path. Fine. Then we have to also understand the philosophy of Madhyam Marg. What is Madhyam Marg, or the middle path? Here it is talking about, there is continuum of two extremities, that is extreme inaction, extreme action, and the person should follow the middle path, that is appropriate action. Or we can say here, according to Buddha, one should not completely follow the celibacy or asceticism, or one should not completely have the materialistic life, heavenly pleasures, okay, materialistic pleasures. Rather, one should follow the middle path between these extremities. A similar kind of philosophy is also given by Aristotle when we are talking about ethics, the doctrine of mean. Doctrine of mean. The similar kind of philosophy, extreme inaction, extreme action, appropriate action. Right. So, doctrine of mean, Aristotle to some extent links or has some kind of similarity with this Madhyam Marg. Then Tri Ratna. Which are the three Ratnas of Buddhism? first thing Buddha, second Dhamma, and third Sangha. Right. So Buddha means enlightenment. Sangha, Dhamma means doctrine, or we can say teachings of Buddha, doctrine or teachings of Buddha. Sangha means commune, or those who are followers of teachings of Buddha. They were organized in Sangha for further, let's say, spreading of this Buddhism philosophy throughout the world. Right. So this commune is called as Sangha. So these are the three Ratnas, and the person who adopts the Buddhism philosophy goes into the Sharan of these three Ratna, that is Tri Sharan. This is called as Tri Sharan. This is very important for Buddhism. Then we have Panchashil, a similar kind of philosophy that is also observed in Jainism, that one should not steal, or we can say one should not lie, one should not steal, or we can say one should not harm animals. A similar kind of philosophy is also observed in Jainism. Right. So Panchashil is related to rules to be followed by the people in day-to-day life. Right. In day-to-day life, in society, in living the social life, this should be followed, Panchashil. And then Buddhist councils. Now different 4 Buddhist councils were organized, and the compilation of the works is very important in Buddhism philosophy, or we can say Buddhist literature. Which are these councils? First council. Okay. Now first council was held in 483 BC in Rajgriha, or we can say Rajgir, the present day Rajgriha, Rajgir, and it was patroned by, all these councils were patroned by certain kings at that time. Patron kings we can call them. So he was Ajatashatru, King Ajatashatru of Haryanka dynasty. Second, it was held in 383 BC in Vaishali. Again present day Bihar, and this was patroned by Kala Ashoka, Shishunag dynasty. Then we have third council, we can say 250 BC. It was held in 250 BC at Patliputra. This was capital of Magadha, we can say Ashoka king, present day Patna, Patliputra. Right. So this was the patron was Ashoka of Mauryan dynasty. Right. Then we have fourth one held in 98 BC. In Kashmir, Kundalwan of Kashmir, and this was patron King Kanishka of Kushana dynasty. You need to remember all the 4. There can be match the following type of question. Surely it can be asked. Already it is asked. It can be repeated in a different manner. Okay, so time period, then the location and the patron kings, very, very important. Fine. So Buddhist councils. Now, after understanding, there are sects. There are 3 sects of Buddhism. Okay, according to the people or the followers of Buddhism, they had certain kind of differences, and therefore different sects emerged in the Buddhism. First, Hinayana. Okay, Hinayana. This followed original teachings of Buddha. Original teachings of Buddha. Second thing, did not believe in idol practice or worship, idol worship. Spread especially in southern countries. Southern countries. That's why we can say it is also called as southern Buddhism, right? So, for example, you can give the example of Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Burma or Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia, right? So, Hinayana, this particular sect is famous in these countries. Very strictly followed the original teachings, no idol worship, no belief in heavenly Buddha. Second is Mahayana. Mahayana. Now this particular they believed in heavenly presence of Buddha. Heavenly presence of Buddha. That means they followed practice of idol worship. That is, Buddha was actually idolized. Buddha was actually idolized, and the idol worship was more focused rather than the teachings of Buddha. And we can say it is spread over the northern countries, northern part of the continent, especially if we are talking about the China, Japan, South Korea. Japan, South Korea. In these countries, Mahayana sect, it was spread. And the third one later on emerged, Vajrayana. Vajrayana. Now this Vajrayana, this is spread, or we can say it believed on magical powers. It believed in magical powers. Once these magical powers are attained, there is path to the salvation or moksha. This particular sect is very famous in eastern India, eastern states of India, like West Bengal, Assam. Okay, so Vajrayana, this is third sect. So there can be question on this sects also in your prelims examination. So these are the 3 sects. Then Buddhist architecture. In Buddhist architecture, first you should be aware about the caves. Second, you should be aware about the stupas. And third, sculpture. Okay, in caves, yes, we have Vihara and Chaitya. There are 2 parts of any cave, Buddhist cave. Okay, Chaitya, where meditation is done by all these bhikkhus, and the Vihara is the resting place for all these bhikkhus, right? So caves. Then stupa. Stupa is important, for example, Sarnath stupa, right? So these stupas are basically their central part, the center part of the stupa where the remains of Buddha are buried. Okay, so this is important architecture, Buddhism architecture, stupa. Then sculpture. So sculpture especially for the idols prepared or we can say created for Buddha. Buddhist sculpture. There are three different schools of this particular sculpture art. One, we can say Mathura School of Art, then Amravati School of Art, Mathura School of Art, Amravati School of Art, and then Gandhara School of Art. Right, Gandhara at Takshila. Gandhara School of Art, Mathura School of Art, Amravati School of Art. Basically, they are related to sculpture of Buddha, right, and Buddhist architecture. Fine. So this much information is sufficient. Yes, you can go into detail. Actually, UPSC is asking very difficult question from Buddhism philosophy. Let me tell you that you should prepare this topic first of all from 11th standard NCERT related to art and architecture. There is Buddhism philosophy explained, and yes, ancient history, that NCERT is also important. Along with that, you should be also aware about the Buddhist architecture. So this, especially these three schools of arts and the differences, right? Okay. Now, COVID-19 related developments. Now, what are these different developments? Let us try to know about them. Now, one study that says that 2 doses of Covishield vaccine produced more antibodies than Covaxin doses, but there were relatively fewer instances of breakthrough infections after the latter, that is after Covaxin doses. The report reports a study of healthcare workers in India. Okay, so this is very important study that we are getting here, that Covishield has produced more antibodies as compared to Covaxin. However, Covaxin, after giving the Covaxin doses, the breakthrough infections are very less as compared to Covishield. This particular outcome of study, now it is being peer reviewed. Further, we can have input on this. Let us try to solve some of the MCQs, especially related to Buddhism and Buddha's life. Let me give you some time to solve this. Yes, let us try to solve. Now, statements about Buddhism which are correct statements we are talking here, right? So yes, Gautama Buddha created Sangha of bhikkhus to preach his religion. Yes, Sangha, he created Sangha of bhikkhus, and further they spread the philosophy of Buddha. Women were not allowed to be part of Sangha. Actually, this is incorrect. Rather, we can say that the bhikkhus and their sanghas did not have women. There was separate sanghas for women was created, and they were known as bhikkhunis. They were known as bhikkhunis. Okay, you should be aware that they were also organized in the sanghas, but separately, and they were called as bhikkhunis. So it is incorrect. People from all varnas and caste could embrace Buddhism. This is correct statement, right? So answer should be 1 and 3 only. Now moving on to next question. Yes, this one. Yes, you may be finding this difficult because many of you may not have studied ancient history at present. Okay, so you should be aware about who were the contemporaries of Buddha and Mahavira also at that time. Different 16 Mahajanpadas were present at that time, and the kings in major Mahajanpadas, they were contemporaries and very important patrons of this Buddhism and Jainism philosophies also. So that's why it becomes important. So contemporary of Buddha, who were the contemporary of Buddha? You need to know that Bimbisara of Magadha Empire, then Prasenjit and Pradyot, they were actually the contemporaries. So answer should be 1, 3, 4. Milinda was not the contemporary of Buddha, so answer should be C here. Fine? Okay. Next question. Yes, actually this question is wrongly framed here. We wanted to have this interchange like this. Okay, so consider this as the question. Okay, so which of the following is or correctly matched pair? First, Buddhist council. Just now we talked about that it is Rajagriha who was the king. The king was Ajatashatru of Haryanaka dynasty. Second Buddhist council, yes, this is not in Patliputra, rather in Vaishali. So this is actually incorrectly matched. So framing is wrong actually here. Third Buddhist council is not in Vaishali, rather in Patliputra. So this is incorrect. And the fourth Buddhist council in Kashmir, this is correct. So that's why answer should have been 1 and 4. Okay, so yes, again let me repeat here the names of the patron kings. Second Buddhist council, the patron king was Kala Ashoka of Shishunaga dynasty, Kala Ashoka. Third Buddhist council, Ashoka of Mauryan dynasty. And then fourth Buddhist council, patron king Kanishka of Kushana dynasty. Kanishka of Kushana dynasty. Fine. Okay, so such kind of match the following type of questions can be asked. Now, one of the good caption that we found in that behavioral aspect, that kind of approach. If we want to finish this year being able to celebrate festivals, hug our loved ones and enjoy a real holiday, we need to invest in a comprehensive behavioral approach to address COVID-19 pandemic. Such kind of statement can be used especially in essay paper, right? So some informal aspects are there, so use this in essay paper. Fine? Okay. Yes, so these were important articles from today's The Hindu newspaper. For further information regarding ethics test series, polity test series, public administration test series and essay test series of Lukman IAS, you can contact Lukman IAS office. Thank you.
Live online classes are as effective as offline classes. Ethics with S. Ansari remains the best ever choice. Do you know that ethics paper is the only paper in general studies that pays more with less efforts? One can easily secure 130 to 140 marks. Lukman IAS is a well-established name since 2014 for ethics paper. We offer 3 types of courses: Ethics Foundation course, Ethics Case Studies and Ethics Test Series. Since 2015, Lukman IAS students have maintained the records of securing the highest marks in this paper. Ethics Foundation course is starting from 21st of June 2021. Classes will be for 4 days in a week from 11 am to 1:30 pm. The course duration is of 60 days and the videos will be available for 75 days. There will be 43 classes, of which 35 classes will be focused on theory and concept building and 8 classes will be dedicated for case studies. There will be over 180 case studies and 3 tests. Since 4 months are left for prelims, one can easily finish the ethics paper before prelims itself, and it's a good opportunity. So why to wait? Contact us today for more information.